On Wake Up today, 5:25 now, and we just heard from the president live from Washington, D.C., responding to the reopening of the government after the 16-day partial shutdown.
And we welcome now Senator Hirono joins us live by phone from Washington, D.C. at this moment. Good morning to you, Senator.
Good morning, Ron.
Hey, good morning, and thank you very much for quickly giving us a call just moments after the president's delivery and announcement. Your thoughts on what he had to say today? I know it's been a marathon the last few days for you folks, but your thoughts on what he had to say today?
He reminded us that this manufacturer crisis resulted in no winners, and it damaged our economy and our families and our businesses, but he very much focused on those areas where we have agreement and that we should move on. And he called upon us to think about what we can do to serve the people and communities that we are elected to serve. So he pointed out the three areas that we should be working on, and I totally agree on his focus. One is we need to get a budget, and we will negotiate that budget. Two, we need comprehensive immigration reform, something that I've worked very hard on as a member of the Judiciary Committee. And the third is to pass a farm bill, because there are a lot of rural families and farmers who are relying upon that legislation. So I like the fact that he focused us on the points of agreement and what we're here to do, which is to create jobs, move our economy.
You know, obviously, Senator, the first thing that you mentioned and something that he mentioned several times was talking about the budget, saying that we need a budget that deals with the issues that most Americans are focused on. And how are you guys moving forward going to focus on that budget and create those jobs and stimulate the economy?
We've talked about the need for a balanced approach to our budget negotiations, and that means that we're not just going to cut, that we need to have some revenues, we need to create jobs, we need to have really a balanced approach. And, you know, I'm hopeful that going into the budget negotiations, which we have been calling for since March when the Senate passed a budget, that the Republican members of the Budget Committee will be able to come to an agreement and not just focus on continuing cuts.
Senator, the last thing we want to see is to go through this exercise again in a few months. And how do you answer that question? Also, how do you restore the trust of the public?
By doing what we need to do, and especially, as the president said, we can do those three things now. It should be manageable. We can do it before the end of the year. And when we do our jobs, that's one of the ways that we're going to restore the trust of the American people. And at the same time, I think this call to all of us working together, you know, one thing about this manufacturer crisis, he mentioned that what it showed us is that government does a lot of things that people rely upon every single day. And so they want government to work. They don't want a government that crashes. So I'm hopeful that that's one of the lessons learned, that we need to, if there are areas of disagreement on programs, we need to hash those out. But at the same time, he would like us to get on with those three areas that we know we can already move on, because for one thing, the Senate has already passed bills in all three areas, and the House has passed a budget.
What's going to happen come January and February when we see this all over again?
As I said, I'm hopeful that the lessons learned, and that if we come up with a budget that's going to provide some clarity and certainty for our business community and others, that it will therefore obviate, it will eliminate this kind of brinksmanship and lurching from one manufacturer crisis to another, because we would have worked together in a bipartisan way.
Senator, thank you very much for joining us on Wake Up today. We really appreciate you taking some time out of your very busy schedule to join us live and sharing it with your constituents back home. All right, Senator Hirono live from Washington, D.C.
Okay.